Hello! It's Sunday night again. Sorry I'm a little bit later tonight. I've been out and about. I've actually been flying. I've been flying this thing. I'm going to talk about that a bit in a minute. Right. Good evening, Type. Let's see if we're actually working here. First of all, like every live stream always starts with the madman at the beginning, not knowing if anything's actually working or not. Let's just have a look. Type. Hello, Type. Hello, Ken. Hello, Flyby guys. How are you doing? Good evening, everyone. I hope you are all safe and well. I am less red this week than I was last week. Sorry, I think I was a little bit sunstroke, to say the least. I'd spent 2 days in the sun and it hadn't done me any good. Let's just say that. I've been out tonight because it's a bank holiday weekend here, so I haven't been drinking, don't worry. But I am a little bit later than I would usually be getting home. Therefore, I was a little later doing the stream. Good evening, Steve, David. How are you? Pixel Perfect. Hello, guys. Hope everyone is well. Now, tonight, I just want to talk about a couple of things, as well as answer any questions. As always, if I can answer anything, please do put them in the chat, and I'll try and get to them as soon as I possibly can. As always, a couple of little interesting things, actually, and something that, well, at least for me, flew straight under the radar. And I mean completely under the radar of a little bit of a firmware update for the Mavic 2 Pro. And now I completely missed this, and I might be the only person out there that did miss it, but we will talk a little bit about it. And I'm actually going to recommend, just wipe that, something there. I'm going to recommend you don't update to this, because it smells a little bit off to me. And it's about that period of time where I would be very reluctant to update firmware on a product that could be coming towards the end of its life. And that is the Mavic 2 Pro. So we will talk about that a little bit in a minute. Good evening, Limitless Sky. Hope you are safe and well. So yeah, we'll let it all get running and roll up, and then we'll move on from there. Literally got myself a drink. Tonight's stream is sponsored by Pepsi, as you can see. It's not, but let's see. As you can see behind me, things are a little bit messy. Just to show you guys what's been going on. There's been quite a lot going on here this week. I'm starting to get on top of stuff in the nights, in the evenings, managing to keep on top of some of the stuff. I'm a bit behind on some projects. And I've got some cool ones coming up, actually. There's another oscilloscope review stroke overview coming up. A portable one, which I'm looking forward to, because that really gives some interesting options, especially for out in the field type of stuff. Not necessarily just drone, but especially working on cars and vehicles and things like that. And hopefully we've got the loan of a proper spectrum analyzer coming. And what that will mean is it's a portable, handheld spectrum analyzer, but it's a proper piece of kit. And it's going to allow me to make a couple of videos about talking about it, you know, give you guys an overview of it, but talk about it from a commercial drone operator point of view, as well as an operator point of view. And show some things around the FPV drone a little bit better than I'm able to at the moment. And whilst I do have some gear that allows me to do that, a spectrum will allow me to take it to the next level. The problem is, spectrum analyzers that cover the 5.8 band are extremely expensive, and I am talking £7,000 expensive. In the UK, I think when I was pricing them on Telonic, Telonic's one of the main dealers in the UK for a lot of test equipment. They're actually a supporter of the channel. They've helped us out in the past with some stuff as well. Fantastic dealer. If you've not used them, let me just put it up a sec just to show you. They're a company, and oh god, sorry, that was the wrong button, wasn't it? Let's get that back. And if we just look at test and measurement, if we start looking at spectrum analyzers, low band ones are fairly cheap, but when you start then getting up to the very high end, you know, 5 gigs, serious money starts kicking in. Like for instance, the D800 series, you know, 1.5 gigs you can get for less than £1,000. It's not so bad. But when you start going up, you know, 3.2 gig is, you know, £3,500. That would cover the 2.4 band element. But if we want to get up to something up to be able to start looking at 5.8, you're talking a 6 or a 7 gigs, and we're £6,000. So they are extremely expensive, extremely expensive. And this isn't Telonic. It's just the price of these pieces of equipment. Unfortunately, I would love, and I mean I would love to have one of these on the bench. I would give a limb to get one of these on the bench, if I'm honest. However, the cost is just impossible for me to make it happen. Unless I did a GoFundMe. Unless we went with a GoFundMe and said, does anyone want to help me buy a spectrum analyzer? It's not going to happen. It's an extremely, even if we look, that was the Rigol models. If we look at the Siglants, the new Siglants, what are we talking? 7.5, £5,660. Huge money. Would love one on the bench. Would absolutely love one, but it isn't going to happen. Okay, so we'll talk about that as well in a minute. Now, let me just get back to the screen to make sure the thing. And I saw a question there, which I want to answer. Type has put it in already. Jasper SK, does GG have a habit of nerfing old products? Yes and no. I wouldn't out and out say they nerf them. However, there is a long history of things being changed, not always for the better, towards the end of life. So, for instance, if we take the Inspire 1, they had to put a fix in place for the batteries turning themselves off in flight with LVC, which is the low voltage cutoff. Now, this was only something that would happen under very specific circumstances. But that fix was to reduce the power output of the aircraft. So again, people upgraded to it, and then you lost some power of the aircraft. We've had an update on the Inspire 2, which for some seems fine, for others it does not. Whenever they are pushing an update out towards the end of the life, I'm always dubious, whether it be mistakes, incompetence, or intentional. Things seem to happen now and again on it. So my advice is, and we'll look at the update now because it's a minor issue. So my opinion is don't update to it. So let's get on with it and let's take a look at it. So they have put an update out, and it was sneaked out. It was really quite, and it came out around the Mavic Air 2S time as well. So if we look at the release notes, 22nd of the 4th. So it's not long ago. And it really did sneak out the door. 22nd of the 4th version, 01.00.0700, and it fixed occasional issue. Battery could not be charged when the battery level was low. Now, I'll be honest, I am not aware of anyone myself having this issue. So, first of all, my opinion is, unless you've got a specific reason to upgrade, I don't really see the need to. And the interesting thing about this is, if you look, right, this is a remote and aircraft firmware update. So, again, I'm always a bit dubious. It's not just an update for one part of the system. It's the whole thing. And, why did they have to update the remote? What else has changed? DJI does have a habit of making undocumented changes. That's fact. They've done it for donkey's years, on and off. So my opinion on this is, if you are a Mavic 2 Pro user, I would not update to this unless you've got a specific reason to do so. I've never seen the issue of the batteries going flat. If anyone's had it in the comments, please do let me know. I've not had it myself. Sorry, did I actually put that up to show you? I don't think I did. Sorry about that. It's there. So that is the issue. So it's dated 22nd of the 4th. Version 01.00.0770 for both remote and craft. And then it just says, fixes can issue a charge. Restart the aircraft if the update complete. Note the update may reset various main control settings, including return to home and the maximum flight distance to default values. See, it's things like this that give me warning signs. This should be a battery firmware update. Why is it resetting multi-controller settings? This is an issue when the battery isn't even attached to the aircraft? Why are they, so what else is going on here? Something else is going on. Something else has changed. So it's a weird one. It's a very, very weird one. And as I said, I'm always very cautious at this stage in a product's life cycle when we get this happen. The Mavic 2 Pro has been out for a long time now. Like, let's just wait. Let me just go down the release notes. Let me put myself up in the corner as well. 1 second, guys. For some reason, I haven't got that turned on. There we go. That's a bit better. Hello, you can see me now. If we go all the way down this document, right back, all the way back. So the first firmware was version 0.0. So we're now a product that was released in August 18. This drone is heading towards 3 years old. It's very much heading towards 3 years old. So it is basically end of life now. It is heading for the door. It really is. It's 2.5 years, and we're heading towards it. So I'm always cautious when we get to this stage, and it's not the first time we've seen these things. I said with Inspire 1, they reduced the power output because they felt it was necessary. My personal opinion is, if you've not got any problems with your aircraft, why worry about what it's doing? Why worry about the update? I certainly wouldn't be pushing for it. Now, I haven't even tried this one myself. I'm not really willing to risk this one myself, personally. Right now, I'm just not going to go there. So, really, that's it. She's an old bird now. She's been getting on a bit. As a couple of people have said, for some reason, my YouTube viewers thing isn't working again. September this year, probably a replacement. I think that's probably about right. Chances are, Mark said it, about end of this year. Let me see if I can fix my little thing as well at the same time. End of this year, it is about right for this now, for this aircraft to be replaced. Where will they go with it, though? I'm really not sure. I've seen some silly comments mentioned around, will it have? My batteries are not in the best shape anyways. Yeah, you don't want to be doing things to them. And again, there has been problems with the DJI drones. There has been problems with the Mavic 2 Pro batteries. Now, mine haven't done it. Mine have all been fine. And to be fair, mine have not had a lot of use over the last 12 months. Well, 18 months, really. And all of mine are good. I've had no swelling, no nothing. They're all fine. But you don't really want to be layering potential for any problems on top of that. That's the thing. You don't really want to be doing it. At the end of the day, you want your aircraft to be in the best possible performance. But if you've had it 2 or 3 years and you've not had a problem, I'm not expecting you to have a problem with this now. I'm really not. Just going to take a drink. She's, as I said, she's an old bird. She's a solid bird. Okay, where does it go? Where does the Inspire? Where does the Mavic 2 series or the Mavic series go now? I do even wonder how much space there is for a Mavic 3. Should it be a bigger aircraft and replace the Inspire, or should it be something else? It's a tough one to know, isn't it? But so, really, on that one, it was very quietly sneaked out, but I wouldn't recommend upgrading. FPV and me, hi pal. My Success F4 blew in my HD nozzle. Can I just replace with the F7 version? Yeah, I'm not fully aware of that controller. But we can have a look. Generally, there might be a slight difference in pinouts, but generally there's not a lot of difference. We'll have a quick look now and bring it up. Birth of a new series. It could be time for something else. The Mavic has now transitioned in, well, it always was. I shouldn't say transitioned. The Mavic line was a small camera drone, and it's really pushed that forward. Now, the question is, do you continue the Mavic on a line of multiple names, or do you now release something new with a new name, maybe an entire new design for the bigger, more semi-professional camera drone market. Because the problem is this. They've got so good for commercial use in the sense of a Mavic 2 Pro is ideal for most basic commercial work, real estate, video. The hassle factor you save by something even compared to the Inspire is massive. Then if you take into account, you can go down to a Mavic Air 2S especially, or Mavic Mini 2, it takes all of the hassle. Massive amounts of hassle out of it. Just Best Case says mapping, and it is an interesting point because they do have a bit of a lack in the mapping area right now. The Panther Pro version 2 is the only real model they've got in that. It's a great craft overall. So, you know, I'm not convinced DJI are going to go out and out on object sensing and object avoidance. I'm not convinced they're going to put huge amounts of time into it. Now, I could be wrong. Because DJI is a company that's driven by data. And I still think the actual uses of it, using it for object avoidance, is tiny. I just think. But I think perhaps all new design, maybe, you know, there's a lot they could do with the camera. The camera is an area, or not so much the camera, but processing. You could keep the same 1-inch sensor, but give us a much higher bit rate. You know, this isn't all about sensor size. You know, it's the old PC adage where megahertz matter. Megahertz matter only to a point. You know, when CPUs got to, you know, 2 gigs, 3 gigs, 4 gigs, there's a reason we went to dual core, quad core, you know, hex core, 8 cores like we've got in this. Because there are different ways of doing things. And I do think something could be really interesting is if we had like a 400 megabits a second Mavic. SD card, not SSD. Doesn't have to be SSD, but SD card 400 megabits, up to 400 megabits a second. ProRes RAW. It can be done. That is where you get interesting. That's where it gets really interesting. I suspect they will do more object sensing because that's what people think they want. But not that many people use it. Let me just bring up this autopilot whilst I'm talking about this. So, yeah, give me, you know, I don't know. I could be wrong. Perhaps, you know, do we think we'll see an Inspire 3 this year and a Mavic 3? Here's a piece of completely honest truth. I am highly considering now selling my Inspire 2. I am genuinely considering letting it go. I'm just not getting the use out of it. I don't think I'm going to be doing anything that warrants it in the next 6 to 12 months. Personally, the way things are at the moment. I certainly don't have the budget to buy an Inspire 3 when it comes. If an Inspire 3 happens, I won't be on board. Just the money I think involved is going to be huge. I can honestly see an Inspire 3 being 30 to 50% more than the Inspire 2. I think you will see it as a substantially more expensive aircraft, in my opinion, overall. I just think that'll happen. They'll tie it off, maybe built-in SSD or something like that, but I won't be involved, which will be a shame. I've had both of them, but when we're getting up to that level of money, you know, 6,000, 7,000, I just can't spend that on that, you know, unless I do another GoFundMe, lol. But for that, okay, so. iFlight Success F4. Let's have a quick look at that, and we'll have a quick look at the pinout. iFlight Success F4. Let's just see if we can find the pinouts of iFlight Success X F4, and then we'll have a look at the F7 and see what the main differences are. It's going to be a lot of money. I think we all know it's going to be a lot of money. Success X, is it, which is the FH7? So looking to replace it with F7 version. So is it the standard version? F7, F4. Yeah, looking at it, it's a very, very similar controller. So you got the F4, F7. I'm just looking now at the 2. Looks very, using it with Codex Vista. It will go. You might have a slight wiring difference, but it will go. Now, does... Okay, so do they have the header on it? The DJI header? Vista plug and play. Yeah, go for it. It's got Vista plug and play. Go for it. You'll be fine. Yeah, just go for it. It'll be fine. I'm just looking at the pictures. In fact, the layout is virtually identical. I'm just looking between the two. One, two. Yeah, it's virtually identical. Literally virtually identical. Go for it. You'll be fine. If we do look at it, if I just put it up, just to show you guys what we're looking at on this. So we've got the F4 version, which is the F4 version 2.1, but it won't be much difference. If we look on the side, we've got obviously all the headers. We've got the OSD chip. You've got the headers all the same. And if we look at the F7, it is literally identical. It's the same board. They virtually used the same board. From a top point of view, let's just have a look. What are they like from the top point of view? It literally, yeah, they're virtually using the same overall design. F7, yeah, it's the same controller. No problem. Hopefully that answered that question. Thanks. So many more thousands of subs because I'm running it is why. The channel is growing. Actually, that's something I will talk about a bit in the stream in a minute as well. The channel is growing quite fast at the moment. Well, at least, we put on about 800 subs last month, which is incredible compared to where we've been at. We're on the road to 20,000 very, very quickly now. And I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased with that. And that's because of you guys. No one else, is that. Now, if you've got any questions, guys, please do put them in the comments. I'm going to talk a little bit now about an aircraft I've seen this week, and this I'm really excited about. It's not really something you can buy because it's commercial, but this was highlighted to me, and I think the job this manufacturer has done is simply outstanding. No other word to use. No other drone I've seen looks quite as integrated as this that isn't DJI. Now, this company is, to put it up on the screen, it's called Hexadrone, and they're a French company. They're based in France. They're going to be selling this out, and they've got a new drone coming. Now, there's a video. Let me just put this up. Let's see if this kicks in. They've put a video up on their Facebook page, and I'm going to show you guys this. Now, obviously, that is a little bit of a teaser from the company, and they've got a website. They haven't fully got the page up for this yet. Now, I do know a little bit of info about this product already. They are going to be using it with the Cube Autopilot. It's using HearLink. Oh, let's get rid of Graham because Graham's come up. But this looks really, really interesting, this drone. It really, really does. And just the way they've integrated it, the way they've made this product look. You know, if we put this video back up again, right, just look at the latches on the design of this frame. I'll stop and start it as we see parts go in. So you've got the arms that go in, nice, threaded and screwed, so carbon fiber arms. Look at that latch. That is really nicely done. Really nicely done. You've then got plug-in flight key, latches, the straps, antennas and legs that just clip in. It looks really tidy. Really tidy. So yeah, this is obviously a heavy commercial drone. Let me just pause that. It's obviously a heavy commercial drone for commercial operators, but it does look really interesting. Really interesting. I don't have a lot of specs on it. I know they're using the Cube. It looks like they're using Hearlink, and so it's going to be PX4 Ardra based. It can carry multiple payloads, LiDAR, all of those things. So some really interesting stuff with that one. Hello, Geekon. 1+ sub. Thank you very much. The V2 goggles in no way can be audience mode with the V1. Whatever I do 24 also does not the trick. Right. So, okay. V1, V2. Just to explain a few things here. So, when using the V1 goggles, no, let me rephrase that. Yeah, that's going to be a big crowdfunder for that one. Oscilloscope, then Inspire 3, then that one type. Not oscilloscope. Spectrum. Okay, so V2 goggles. Let me start this again. V2s. So, when using the V2s in FPV mode, with this, with an ear unit, you can use the V1s for audience mode. You can. That works. If using the V2s with the DJI FPV drone, you cannot use audience mode with the V1s. You can only use V2 to V2. However, you can V1 to audience mode with a V2s in FPV mode. It should work. With regards to the hacks, all of the hacks work with the V2s as they do on the V1s. Nothing's changed. So, FCC mode is on the ear unit, not the goggles. So you have to do FCC mode on the ear unit, not this. It goes on here. What you do on the goggles is 1200 milliwatt mode. That, from 700 to 1200 or 700, 1000, 1200. That goes on the goggles. So the NACO file goes on the drone with the SD card on here. And then the NACO_power for the 1200 milliwatt goes on the goggles version 2 or version 1 on the SD card. Works exactly the same. I have a video on it on this channel. So those two work. Those two do work. But that's the thing. Now, I've been out flying my FPV drone today, getting just a little bit of last bit of footage. I've been reviewing these. Let me just put them up. These from Freewell, which is the standard Freewell filter kit. And for the FPV drone, and they're good. There are absolutely no issues with them at all. Great set of ND filters. There's a review coming up on them probably tonight, actually. I'll upload it later. If you're after ND filters for the DJI FPV drone, well worth a look. Good points, nice and easy to use. They push on, they work. I will say there is one or two little downsides to them. The one main downside is that they do restrict the gimbal movement. So when you've got these on the drone, the gimbal cannot go all the way to the top. Now, it's not really the fault of the ND filter. It's the way DJI have designed the gimbal to almost hook under itself at the top when it's looking up. And these ND filters are quite large, and they do get in the way, and they do restrict it. But it's nothing for me. And in fact, if you're flying the FPV drone to want to use ND filters, you're not really going to be doing out-and-out acro flips and want that full speed forward, in my opinion. Most of the time, you're going to be flying much slower, smoother, and they're absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. They come in a nice little plastic case, just like that there. I've been using Freewell ND filters for donkey's years. I have about 15 sets. just to grab a few, and these is just a few because the others are actually in my bag. We've got an ND2000 for the Mavic 2 Pro. I've been using them for donkey's years. Just to prove I have been using them for donkey's years. There's more there. Circular polarizers. I got loads. Now, I've worked with Freewell over the years. They're really decent. I've not had any problems. Oh, there's the UV filters, which I've had. Bit of dust on these when I did the roof. And that's an empty case because the ND filters for that are actually in the bag. So I've been using Freewell filters for donkey's years. They did send me them for free, so I'll be completely open with you. But if I wasn't happy with them, I wouldn't be telling you that. Yeah, their filters are absolutely great. No issues at all. In this set, you've got ND, just remind myself, ND4, ND8, ND16, and ND32. You might find you still want something a bit bigger. I haven't seen Freewell make any bigger ones yet. Let me just look on their website. I haven't up to that set. So this set does up to ND 32. There are obviously going to be occasions where you want 64s, 128s, even maybe 256s. When I looked the other day, they didn't have anything bigger, but let me just check just to see if that's changed. It depends how bright you are. You know, it depends how obsessive you really want to get to that 180-degree rule, or, you know, double in the frame rate with the shutter speed. It really does come down to that. I also want to get a set of these. I need a set of filters for my proper camera as well. I'm going to have to buy a set from them because they make some really nice filters. But if we go FPV racing, I don't think they had anything bigger. So that's the 4-pack. That's the 4-pack I got there. And when I looked on the singles, you got ND4, 1632. Oh, they got a 64 now. There is a 64 listed, so you can get a 64 as well. You shouldn't need anything bigger than that for most things, but yeah. And they do a UV and a polarizer as well. So you've got the UV and the polarizer, which depends what you're doing. Polarizers are always good. They do allow you to get the night cut off the filter, off the water. Helps you get the cut down. But they're good. They're good filters. I've never had an issue with them. Any experience with the cheap Sun Life ND filters for the Mini and Mini 2? No. I do have. I was sent, and I do need to give these away. Actually, where are they? I'm going to do. Is there any Mavic 2 Pro owners in this stream? Let me just look. I'm just looking. I've got a set of ND filters which I was sent to review, and I didn't need them. I need to find them. If anyone is, send me an email. And you need ND filters, obviously, and you need ND filters. Let me know, and we'll sort you out. Right, just going up to this. So I cannot use the V1 and V2 in audience mode. Yes, you can, but not in 50 megs mode. So V2s with FPV air units, it will work with the V1s in audience mode, but not in 50 megabits a second. 50 megabits a second only allows normal. You can't use audience mode. They will work, but only with air units. They will not work with the FPV drone. That's all you need for commercial flying. Tam Holt, just as Tam said, 50 megabits mode, you can use audience mode 50 megabits. You need 25 megabits to ride along. Sorry, to be sure, I cannot the V2 goggles in audience mode when the V1 is in the master. No, it should be the same, but I'll have a look at that. Should be the same. We can try it. I can absolutely try it. It's been a while, but I can try it. Let me get a set of V2s. Now, the only downside is I'm going to lose the binding to my aircraft now because of this. Thank you, DJI. I'm going to lose the binding to my FPV drone now because of DJI stupidity. So just to confirm, you're using it with air units. let's have a look. This could go horribly wrong. So what I'll do first of all is, so which way are you having trouble? Just remind me. Okay, so I have the V2 goggles, right, buddy? Okay, so sure, I can't. V1 is the master. Okay. So V1's the master. Let me get a cable for that. Hopefully, if I do this, it won't lose my binding. I'm not holding much hope of that, mind. Okay, so let's do this now. So I'll keep the V1s as master. I got the strap off my V1s at the moment. I haven't used them. Okay, so we'll do the V1s as master. Wait for these to power up. And we'll power this one up. Got props on this, so I'm a little bit dubious. It's always a bit concerning when you're doing these things with props on, but we should be okay. Okay, right, okay, so that's alive. V1's master to the unit. It's been a while since I've done this. So I'm going to have to put these in FPV mode. Just got to reboot. That's frustrating. Why is that camera upside down? That's a settings I've got to change. Sorry with you guys. I know this doesn't make very good TV, but we'll just do this live just to see if this is working. Oh. Okay, so we'll just check. Okay, so we're in FPV mode. Audience. Right, it just said player in, which is interesting. So I'm currently on channel 8, so we can't go on channel 8. Ah, that's interesting. They're in C, they're in CE, and these are in FCC. That's a bummer. Let me just go to channel 1. Okay, let me see if that works. I may have a little bit of an issue here. I might have to put these in CE mode just to force it, because these aren't in FCC. They've never been bound. Yeah, I'm going to have to... what's the quickest way of doing that? I know. 1 second. We need assistant for FPV. So I'm just trying to find assistant. Assistant for FPV series. Yes. Okay, so these are in CE. Let me just force this back into a CE mode. 2 seconds. This is one of the hazards of having stuff in different modes. So all I actually have to do, it's nice and easy. All I actually have to do is make sure that the SD card is not in, which it's not. plug the ear unit in via USB. That's not USB-C, wrong cable. And then it will transition back to CE mode. The second it connects to Assistant 2, it'll reset it back to CE. All I've got to do is plug the ear unit in, power it, and it should then drop back to CE, and I can try it all again. Just waiting for it to connect. Yes. Just to confirm what we're just trying to do for those watching. Right. There we go. FPV ear unit. What we are trying to do for those watching is just to make sure that the audience mode is working as it should. Unfortunately, I've got one in FCC mode and one in CE mode, so I do need to make sure the same. Now, that is possible. If you're doing that, you will have those same issues. So just be aware of that. Okay, so that now should have pushed this. Yay, there we go. That's better. So we're back in CE mode now. I've only got 4 channels. So we'll just wait for it to reconnect. Cool. So player, 4 channels available. Perfect. So it's been a while since I've done this, so I need to check it myself. Right. So remember, the channels will only work 1 to 3. So that's fine. So what we're going to do is change the channel on this off the public channel. We're going to go on to channel 3. So that's now on channel 3. V1 goggles on channel 3. Player in. Hit select. Boom. Working. So there we go. So we have the V1 goggles connected to the ear unit. On channel 3. So remember, it doesn't work in public. You have to be in one of the 3 channels. One of the 3 racing. And then the V2s. Not sure how much I can show you, but there you go. Look, it is working. You can see there's an image there. I know that doesn't really work, but yeah, it is working. So there you go. And I've got audience mode on that. Now I've got to figure out now if I've actually lost the binding. It'd be interesting if it loses the binding to the FPV drone when you use audience mode. Let's go down to device. Switch back to DJI FPV. Reboot. There we go. Let's shut that down. Let's shut that down. So yeah, audience mode's absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. But start looking at issues on your side. See what could be causing it. Make sure you're both... So I'm just getting a battery for the FPV drone. Make sure that both are in the same mode. So one can't be in FCC and one can't be in CE. They have to either be both be CE or both be FCC. You can't have a difference because the channels are different between them. So they do have to be the same. Let's just have a look at this. And let's see if it works. Now, if you've got any questions, guys, while I am doing this. A bit boring, I know, but thought we'd answer a question. Both of mine are in CE. Now, they're both as they should be. Let's just say. But it wouldn't be any different. It shouldn't be any different in... Hey, there we go. No need to rebind either. Bargain. It shouldn't be any different between the two. FCC or CE. There should be no technical difference between the two. But you do need to make sure they are the same. You do need to make sure they are the same. My little thing still isn't working. Okay, guys, if you've got any questions, please do let me know in the chat. Hopefully I've answered that. We've managed to check that out as we've been going along. So, as I mentioned, really interesting drone on this from Hex Drone. Really interesting looking product. Really, really is. Really is an interesting product. Now, as I was saying to you guys earlier, I'll put this back up. I am thinking of selling my Inspire 2 because I'm at the stage of not really knowing if or when I'm going to use this again. Now, for me, this was an interesting period because I spent a huge amount of money buying it. It got a lot of use commercially. It got a lot of use for my own stuff. But I'm at the stage now, it's just too much hassle to carry with me for stuff I'm doing. I'm not expecting to do much work that I'm going to need it this year from a photography point of view. Yes, having the X5S is a very nice camera, but I'll be honest, that 1-inch sensor on the Mavic 2 Pro does it for me. So I'm almost at the stage of thinking, do I now get rid of this aircraft? And really now is the time to consider this because we're at a stage in the world where yes, there might be a new one at the end of the year. Now, it is interesting. The pricing on used ones has dropped dramatically. Absolutely huge. If I go to ebay.com, which is the US one for you guys, GJ Inspire 2, I have seen used prices on these astonishingly low. And it's the same in the UK. So if I eBay UK... some of the prices these aircraft have been selling us for, DJI Inspire 2 is incredible. Some of the prices, you know, look, we've got drone here with Pro Res license 2000. I think that's not the best deal I've seen. That has to be a scam. And there's been someone scamming around the internet on this. See, it's already gone. He keeps popping up, that one. But there has been used prices on Inspire 2s just incredibly low. Incredibly low indeed. Used. So if I click on used specifically, Inspire 1, £700. Inspire 1... with an XT2, okay, that's to be fair, that's an expensive. There is some high prices being listed for some of these, but I've seen some of these sales go very low. See, look at this, 2,400 quid. It's and in the UK they've been much lower. US has been similar. I've seen prices. I've seen a few go incredibly low. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Is sold only. I haven't done that on eBay. Where do you select sold only? Not auction, buy it now. I haven't searched sold only. Search Inspire to Inspire with set the sold only filter. Ah, is it down here? Is it? Is there a sold only filter? Ah, sold items. Do you know, I've never done it that way. Yeah, never done it that way. Okay, so sold items. Here we go. Inspire 1, Inspire 1, Inspire 1. Okay, Inspire 2. Of course, someone bought that for $5,000 in the US. 5,002. Interesting. Some of the prices on the UK groups have been very, very low. Very, very low. I've seen a few. It might just be the UK. It might have just been the UK. Ended recently. I wonder if it's actually the UK that's been driving these prices down then, because the last few I've seen, it's been incredible. And I was shocked how low they were going. That's not terrible. Yeah, UK. Yeah, I'm just wondering. See, look at that. £1,200. 27th of April. X5. I'm just wondering if it's some of the groups. I'm wondering if it's on some of the Facebook groups. The prices are being driven down. There you go. Look, see, £1,800, much lower than you would have expected that aircraft to sell for. Much lower. Just having a look at that. Nice. 1,800 quid. X5S, 2 batteries, 2 transmitters for 2-man ops. 1,800 quid. It's a bargain. An absolute bargain. So, I am thinking of selling it. I'm at the stage now. Do I consider getting rid of it now? It's not getting the use. Am I going to use it this year? That begs the question. Am I going to be getting the use out of it that it deserves? That is the question. You know, am I going to be... Is it worth holding on to it? I'm not 100% sure. I haven't made any decisions on it yet, fully. But I do think it's halfway towards a spectrum analyzer. That's the reality. It is halfway towards a spectrum analyzer. So we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see how it goes and how well it... Am I going to use it is the question. I've been flying a lot more smaller aircraft recently, and I just don't feel like I've got the need for it now. I just don't feel I've got the need for it. I really don't. 2,500. It's not terrible. I did notice on a couple of Facebook groups it was much lower, so that might be being driven then by... I think it's also time to sell. I have 2 and I will sell them. I think, yeah, if you're going to sell them, now is the time. Because, look, we know... Well, we don't know. No one knows for sure. But I don't think we're going to see an Inspire 3 in the next 3 months. That's my belief on things. So now would be the time to push it out the door. Now would be the time to do that. Now, I will need to get a new charger for it because, just to show you, I modified mine. Mine has 4 XT60s on the top. So I could use this with my special charger I had. So I'm going to have to buy a new Coke can because I do not know what I did with the original cover for this. I have no idea. I 3D printed, modified it, XT60s onto each of the outputs. So I'm going to have to get another one of these. And I think you can still get them. Can we get them from DJI still? Let's have a look. Mine was heavily modified. Do they still sell this? Let's have a look. So, Inspire, they should sell it. Inspire 2... accessories, battery and accessories. Oh, they still do the charge hub. 99 quid now. eBay. Can I get one on eBay? Inspire 2 hub. £99. Anyone selling one? 95. 99. I can't sell it like that. From United States. They're in the States. No, it's none used in the UK. Inspire 2 battery. Just see if anything else comes up. Yeah. This is the charging hub for the Inspire 2. So for those who haven't seen it, the way the Inspire 2 worked is you had a charger which came with a single cable that plugged into the top there. And this thing, right, let me show you. This is going to, wait for this. This is going to blow your socks off, right? This is insane engineering for a charge hub in itself. You Mavic users, right? You think you've got you Mavic users with your folding charge hub on the Mavic 2, folds in half on either side. Yeah, that's nothing, right? That's nothing at all. DJI went all out on the Inspire 2. They created the can. The can has 4 buttons. When you press them, its wings fold out one at a time. You then collapse them down, and then you slide the batteries onto the charge hub on each side. And then you can turn it upside down and pretend it's a blade in a helicopter and go, woo. Yeah, it massively over-engineered, right? Let's be blatantly honest. Yeah, charge hub for the Inspire 2. It's a work of art in itself. And if you want to see taking this apart, just dismantling this is a day's job. The work it took to do that modification was incredible. Did I actually make a video about it? I can't remember if I did. It'll be a very long time ago on the channel if I did. Did I make a video on that? That's one I've got to look at. 4 batteries, just 2 sets of it. Yeah, so it can charge, they charge them in pairs, 2 and 2. Was it one of the, I might have just done this. It's this isn't a charge hub. You know, this FPV, you know, this is lazy DJI. This was the pinnacle of your charge hubs. This you know, you disgust me with how far back you've gone. Let's have a look. Did I ever make a video on this? DJI Inspire 2 charge hub. I'm not convinced I did. I'm not convinced I actually made the video. Why did I put XT60s on? So I could charge the batteries individually all at the same time. So rather than do the hub, I was able to charge each pack individually. So when I did my battery charger build, which is this one here, before I did that, I modified the hub. So I could put XT60s on this and then feed power in to get to each battery port. And it worked absolutely fine. But it's a bit untidy. So I then made the battery charger, which is this one here. This is a very old video on the channel now. Oh God, let me mute the audio. And then I modified my Inspire 1 charger. Oh God, 2 ads. I'm going to have to watch both ads now. But I'm not convinced. So I then modified it for the TB 50s on this then. No, I don't think I reckon that's one that went on RC Groups. There'll be pictures of that somewhere. That might be one from RC Groups days. It's gotta be an RC Groups days one, that. But yeah, so I modified that then in the end. That was the one I did. 100 quid. Whew. I hope I did keep the top cover somewhere so I can put it back. Let me just see. Did I actually put a post on RC Groups? Because it was quite a good. It was quite a good thing, that one. My blog. I used to put a lot of stuff just on RC Groups, but there is pages and pages on RC Groups. DJI 2 hub. I'm just trying to see if I'd have. I must have. I'd have posted it somewhere. I definitely took pictures. I definitely made video. I just don't know when. Let me just do one other thing and we'll have a look. If there's any questions, guys, while I'm doing this. Charge hub. Search. I've searched for iCharge hub. That's no good. Try again. Mavic 2. I would have swear I'd have done this. It charges one at a time. Mavic A. Ah. Yes, I did. Okay. So, let's zoom this in a bit. Okay. So, this was improvements to the Coke Can hub. When did I put this up? 2017 on RC Groups. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. 2017. So, that's the lid off it. That's it inside. It's a really weird design, this. There's like, the boards are mounted around the centre, this metal column, and this top metal column is positive and the bottom metal column is negative. So you then have to strip it all down, and you can see then each board. Now, each board is soldered on each end to this metal square thing. On either side, so one is positive, one is negative. It's a really strange old design. So we stripped it down. That was the original cables. Then it was a game of putting... that was me labeling up the battery pins on the Inspire 2. Then putting extra cables in. I used way too thick of cables in this. Christ, it was hard to put together. That was the original mod design there, actually. And then I was like, nah, I'm not happy with that. And then I 3D printed a top cover. And there you go. And what I was doing was I was using it with my Inspire 1 charger, because I had the Inspire 1 and Inspire 2 at the same time at that point. So what I was doing was pulling the cables out and popping it into the top from the custom Inspire 1's charger, because it was originally doing Inspire 1's. And then eventually I just remodified it to go full Inspire 2. Here's a blast from the past. That's a very long blast from the past. That one. Long time ago, that one. I don't know if I missed it, but I've not heard a word about the Gremsy gimbal. No, I haven't. And there is a new gimbal from Gremsy, and it looks very nice. We'll talk about that now, actually. We'll go on to that next. Fortunately, no label where the cover went. I don't know if it's anywhere, right? It's going to be in like this drawer, because I got some drawers down here of random stuff. And if anyway, it'd be in here. But it's not looking good, if I'm honest. No, can't see it in the bottom of that one. The other one, it's more likely actually to be in this one. This is my drone drawer with all sorts of drone bits. Battery charger. To be honest, it should be fairly easy to spot because it's a round circle. However, there is a very, very, very real possibility I binned it. It's not looking good. Let's put it that way. So, okay, guys, if you've got any other questions before we move on to the Gremsy, please do put them in. I nearly took a drink out of that. I almost went to go like that then. It does look like it. 99 quid though. Yeah, it's going to need to be changed. I could probably sell it for 50 quid and then buy another one. Someone might be interested with it. Greetings from Switzerland. Switzerland. Hello. How are you doing, Firmware FPV? Hope you are safe and well. I was flying this thing today. Let's get the SD card out of this, actually. I was finishing some filming today. I'd be interested to look how it looks. It's a weird thing. I had a nice message today. I had a gentleman message me today. An email had come to me and just say, look, you know, do I know if there's going to be a firmware update coming? And the honest question is, I don't know, because he was sort of saying, you know, if there's no updates coming, I might sell it. And I do think we're beginning to see the start of the regret element kicking in the FPV drone. Simply because it is a one-trick pony. It really is a one-trick pony. And, you know, it's not a great cinematic drone. It really is not a great product for that. And I think we're starting to see people regret buying them. Let me just have a look at this footage, just to have a look. I'll start showing this in a second. Let me just go over it. Nope, that's not the piece I need. Oh, God, I can hear it. Don't want to hear it. Okay, so, you know, this is a bit of footage from today with the ND filters on as well. I was just doing some final footage filming with the ND filters. All perfectly legal, all perfectly visual line of sight. This was very intentional, slow flying, and I've got the yaw adjustment turned on the FPV drone on this footage, so to try and straighten it all out a little bit so it acts more like a camera drone, let's just say, rather than just a normal drone. But it's just really not great. I'll be honest, this is 4K 60p here, right? And it's noisy as hell. It really, really is noisy footage. Now, I've done a load of passes on stuff. There's nothing special in this. There's a load of footage of me just doing some beach passes. Yeah, there's really nothing exciting in that. More camera drone type flying with it. This was me messing around, just having a look. But it's, I think it's better coming back this way. There we go. I think I was lining this shot up to then come across and fly. You can see that yaw adjustment in the footage, can't you? You can. I was just adjusting it just to get it in the right place here. That's all I was doing. I wanted to sort of come across over the water a little bit, just to show that. I don't know how it's going to come out. I haven't seen a lot of this yet. It's all going to be touched up, messed up, and made to look better. But it's just not a great camera drone. It just really isn't. And ND filters do help with the footage. You know, they get the shutter where you want it to be. There's no question about that. But no matter what you do with this thing, it's right. Where's the one? There's something. There's one you more flips and rolls at some point. This is interesting. If you do any flips or rolls with the yaw stabilization on, it throws out to crap. In acro, it's really weird. It's really weird. You can see it tilt off as you do it. It just tilts off to the side. It's really strange. This was just flying my last battery down. It was getting dark. I think I was just having a spin around before I flew the battery down. But you can see it go on an angle, look. That was literally the last flight. This one is a bit more slow moving. Again, this is me trying to use it as, say, a camera drone. Okay. So, there's one bit of footage I want to just see, actually, because I went over like a tree. It looks quite nice. It'd be interesting to see how this comes out, this little bit. It's not a bad back garden, that, is it? I straightened up a little bit there because I wasn't heading straight on for the tree. I did tilt down, but you suddenly realise that the gimbal runs out of pace rather quickly as you do it. But then, yeah, look, you run out of dipping down. It's okay, but it's really not a very good camera drone. It's really not at all. So that's the problem with it. But I have been using it today to do a bit more. I got loads of footage there from various things what I'm putting together. It's weird situation. It is a weird situation. Right, just to catch up. Gremsy Gimbal. Yes. I'll talk about that in a second. Sorry, my greetings from the Netherlands. Great, you do this. Great result. Oh, thank you. Standard settings, PID set. I use the others now. And yeah, I need to up everything a bit. I've been upping the rates a little bit on the FPV drone, but nothing fantastic. I think I'm at like 650. I'm not happy with yaw at all. I'm really not happy with the feel in sports mode, to be honest. I need to have a bit more of a play. I need to get the yaw a bit more active. It's really frustrating flying the FPV drone between acro and GPS mode, because I was flying it a lot in GPS mode today because I was doing it for filming. I just wanted some straight camera drone style footage, not bothering with acro. It was quite windy, and the nice thing with using it in GPS mode is it'll just keep everything straight and narrow. It's been really windy here the last couple of weeks. But yeah, it's frustrating a lot of people that there hasn't been it's frustrating that there hasn't been some proper updates for this product yet. Interactive DNA, how am I doing? I'm very well. I hope you are too, my friend. So I do need to tweak it. I need to have a play with it and just tweak it. Now, Gremsy have released a new gimbal. Let me just get to their website. Now, Gremsy are a company who've been around for a long time. They've been making aerial photography products. They make some really great gimbals. They really do. Some really interesting products that you can do things with, like the flares. You can get some big cameras. You can get the RX, the Sonys. They've got all sorts of really nice pieces of technology, but they've just released a new small gimbal, and I think it's the Mio. Is it the Mio? No, it's not the Mio. Oh yes, it is. I think it is the Mio. Is it the MIO? I can't remember off the top of my head. See how much I prepared for this element. Gremsy. Yeah, Mio. It is that one. They are very, very nice pieces of kit. So they've just released this new smaller gimbal for using on aircraft. Versatile payloads. You can use something like an RX100, RC1R1. Sorry, not RX100. RX0. Let's have a look at what payloads. Flare. Much smaller, tighter integration on the cameras. So it works with the Flare Duo R, Pro, View, Sony R10C, not the RX100. Sony QX1, which is a really interesting camera. And it's allowing you to make like a really more compact solution. And the nice thing about their gimbals is they have lots of connectivity. So for instance, it supports USB 2, CAN, UA, S-Bus, PPM, and Bluetooth. And it has all these connections at the top that allow you to plug it in to various systems. So you can plug it into ArduPilot, you can plug it into PX4, you can plug it into all sorts. They then have their connection on it, and they do a whole range of plates and everything as well. And then they've got the removable camera mount on it as well, which is really nice. And it's got some real interesting options. It is a really interesting piece of kit. Now, but they're not cheap. And this is the interesting thing when you talk about gimbals. It is interesting when you talk about gimbals in the sense of drone gimbals compared to, say, the price of handheld gimbals. Because you can get a Ronin RSC for $500, I think $500, £500, which is a fully stable handheld gimbal. Yet these are $1,300. And I don't mean that as in Gremsy is expensive, because I don't believe they are. But it is interesting how expensive gimbals are compared to the handheld camera gimbals that we all have, when technically there's very, very little difference. And on the previous Ronin series, the Ronin S and the Ronin SC, that battery clip was completely removable. You could mount a mounting plate onto the bottom of the drone and power it separately. It could be done. The only thing you wouldn't have is the connection options, but you could plug in via the S-Bus. So there was a lot you could do. There really was. But they've got this new small one, which is really interesting, especially with some of these small Sony cameras as well. You could make some really nice aircrafts around these. You really could. And this Hex drone are a big user of Gremsy, as appears to be the Sony drone. Because remember, that new Sony drone that has been announced is also using a Gremsy gimbal. You know, if we fit Sony drone... Oh, God. Sony drone. If we just find that. Sony Air Peak. Here we go. See, they've got... There's a Gremsy on there now, look. There you go. So, again, they're a widely named company. And interesting that Sony isn't making their own gimbal. They've partnered with Gremsy for theirs. Now, they do make a huge number of different gimbals. That, you know, product-wise, you've got the T3s, which is a really... I think someone said they use the T3s on their aircraft. T3's a really good gimbal. Really good gimbal indeed. Huge amount of connectivity, HDMI, JR, USB CAN, and they've also got a quick release, a really nice, similar to X-Mount from DJI, quick release connector. Very similar indeed. Some really nice stuff on these. Really nice stuff. Aux ports, which go all the way through, down to the bottom. So some really nice toys, you know, and this can take some big cameras. You know, you're talking GH3, GH4, GH5. Quite a 2-second startup. That is moving. Why isn't it moving properly? Built-in Bluetooth as well for connectivity. But again, store. If you see that, you know, they're not cheap. Okay, so if we look down on pricing, the Mayo or the Mio or the Mayo is $1,399. T3 version 3, $1,700. The S1 is another gimbal they do. S1 version 3, which I think is for smaller cameras again. I can't remember which one this one is. Products S1. What were they recommending the S1 for? It was smaller payloads. A6000 series style camera, so yeah, smaller payloads again. So like this, the A6400, because that's what this is filmed on. Those style of cameras as well. So yeah, they look, they've got a gimbal for everything. They really do. But they don't come cheap. You know, you do pay a pretty price for them. I'd love to integrate one of their gimbals into a build. I would love to integrate their gimbals into a proper build. More done with the small ones. Only depends on the camera required. Smaller even better now. The fraction of the big. Yes. I think it's just interesting when we talk about pricing that the handheld gimbal market has been very much a race to the bottom, and the drone gimbal market has been very much kept up high. And again, that is because of far smaller quantities sold. There's no question about that. But it is an interesting observation that they're not following each other in pricing. You know, there's far less complication in these drone gimbals. You know, the handheld gimbals have to have their own battery supply, their own control options, external, screen, all of those things, whereas these drone gimbals can be much, much simpler. Much, much simpler overall. But they do have to cope with more movement. But I am aware of people strapping Ronin S's to the bottom of M600s and had no problems at all. I am aware of it. People have done it. It has been interesting. Okay, guys. Now, if you've got any questions, please do put them in the comments. I think, from my point of view, that's it. About it from me this week. There's a couple of videos coming up. I'll just explain a little bit about, and I'll show you actually what I was talking about now with this handheld scope. Now, there's a review of this coming up, hopefully in the near future. There's a review of two things coming up actually. Let me just show you. These are two things that are going to be coming up on the channel, just to give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek in advance. Again, this French drone, I'd love to do a review on that. Let me just find what I'm looking for. There it is. That's the first one. And the second one is let me just find the email. It's disappeared. Why has it disappeared? Did you hate it when emails disappear in front of you? Go down a bit. It's coming up. I'm finding it. I'm finding it. Great TV, this. Why does... I'm looking for it on this, so... It's not finding it. Why is it hiding? Coinbase. Oh, why? 2 UV. Okay, it's not that. It's not that. It's not that. We will fix your cash cow. I love emails like this. Hello there. We are YouTube content creation team based in India, providing service and content for YouTube channels for their various niches. Arrive an exclusive and profitable monthly package for your YouTube cash cow channel. Please check out the PDF below. Yeah, delete. Here we go. Found it. Me being an idiot. Okay, so two things coming up, which is two really interesting things, actually. They are interesting. Let me just get on the right page. And I will share this with you guys. Okay, let's get this up. Okay, so the first thing is one of these, which is a handheld PSA Series 5 by AM. I need to... Advanced Test and Measurement Instruments and Power Supplies. British company, actually, that makes some really nice handheld spectrum analyzers, up to 6 gigahertz. Now, I'm going to be lucky enough to borrow one of these for a short period of time. I'm really interested in showing this from a how handy, because I believe it's been widely used with some commercial operators and drone operators and stuff like that. But how handy it can be, but also using it as well to show you guys some interesting stuff as well. Really interesting piece of kit. And I'm going to be really interested to see how that behaves. Really interesting to see how that behaves. Hopefully looking forward to getting that one on. And then we've got another oscilloscope from Mixig. Now, this is a portable oscilloscope, so this is one of the smaller portable ones, because I do a lot of electronic work in the background, and I've done a few oscilloscope reviews and or overviews. I'm going to be talking about this one. I'm really interested on this one as well. Touchscreen, all sorts of interesting things. Portable, battery powered. Lots of interesting things as well. So we're going to be talking about that one too over the next couple of weeks. Now, I've also got the ND filter video, which is sort of an overview video, will be coming out either later tonight or tomorrow morning. That'll be going live. I'll be putting up a very short video. A very short video on just my repair on my FPV drone. You know, the one I said was falling out, trying to shoot off and rip my face off. I found what the issue was on that, and I'll be talking about that because it's really about a DJI build. And then I've got a video which I've been working on for like a year because I keep delaying it because something changes, and that is an overview video for the DJI FPV system. And it is a video covering everything that is within the system, so the compatibility. So the first time I was going to release it, then the Vista came out. Then so I was like, okay, I need to go and add that into it. Then the Vision 1 goggles basically disappeared. And I was like, oh, well, there's no point releasing something. Then the Vision 2 goggles come out, so I had to add in the Vision 2 goggles. Then the FPV drone come out, which complicated things as well. So it's going to be going live in the next couple of weeks. It's going to finally go live once we've seen this air unit land from Codex. Just so I can confirm the details on this Codex air unit. And it's funny, actually, I've completely glossed over that tonight, that Codex air unit. And it's actually listed on the Codex website now. If I put it up, you can actually get to it. Codex FPV. They've actually got this damn thing listed now. So you can go on here, you can see it's on the main front page. Quit. $189. Pre-order will ship May 10th. My understanding is it's an identical ear unit to DJI. There's ear unit, not ear unit. People accuse me. Keep saying in my videos I say ear unit. My understanding is it is a direct replacement for the DJI one. It really, really is. There are some subtle changes. When you do look at it, some things have changed. So the MMCX seem to have moved a little bit. They do appear to have moved. So there does appear to be a tweak in there somewhere. It is interesting, though. And this is what I do find very interesting. And I just want to check they haven't changed it. Oh, no, it is there now. It says recording footage. I couldn't see anything about that in the initial video. It's an identical unit. You know, every image only shows from the other sides. They don't show the SD card. If they actually even put it down here now. Yes, they have finally. In the early spec, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. So, you know, this is a direct replacement for the current FPV. It's identical. There's no change. No change at all. Minor improvements. You know, minor external changes. That's it. I wish they'd have put SMAs on it. I think a lot of people would have preferred it. It's going to be really interesting to see how the Codex camera behaves as well. We're not really sure how we're going to get on with that. No one knows, is it going to be as good as DJI? We just haven't seen it yet. So it's basically the same product. It really, really is. There's nothing to see here, is the right term to use on this. Copy and imitate improvements, that's it. Yeah, pretty much. Look, I even think many people think this has been made by DJI and it's just Codex making the camera. I still think this is more about DJI not really being interested in supporting the FPV community, but I don't know. I could be wrong on this. I could be being very unfair to them. But I just think they have no interest in that market anymore, and they've moved on to their next market, which is that thing. That's what I think. That's where I'm at. Now, guys, last chance. If there's any questions, please do put it in the comments of the video. I will answer anything I can before I wrap this one up. Other than that, we know what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, that's the plan. There's going to be the Ardra Pilot build is to come as well. I was a company approached me. Yeah, I don't. DJ's been sanctioned. Steve, I'm just not convinced, Steve, that affects it because it doesn't affect anything else. I'm just not convinced that has anything to do with the ear units. They're selling drones before. They can do anything else. If it was affecting purchasing of product, then it would affect all of the other product lines as well. I'm just not convinced it's anything to do with the financial sanctions. I personally think this is as simple as they have no interest in that side of it. The app stores are still difficult. Yeah, they have issues. There's no questions about that. They have limitations on what they can do. Any time frame? No, Jasper. I have the alpha. I will be doing a proper sneak peek of the alpha this week as well. That was one of the videos I was going to talk. There's a proper sneak peek of that alpha coming, just to show people what is going on. But there's a lot of... It is quite a big change in the background. So there's Philip and the team, Michael especially, are just banging away in the background. I fired it up yesterday, and there was another alpha where they'd made some little changes. Don't expect this one to be a fast cook. It'll take a little bit of time, but it will be worth it. It really will be worth it. The fact that you're going to have the massive improvements in stick resolution, massively improved, the ability to bind multiple air units, the improvement around multiple controllers, multiple streams, all of that stuff. Lots to come. Definitely, then there's the Ardra Pilot quad build, which I'm going to be doing. And there's also the solar panel build coming. And I'm building a PV system. This is about the last thing I'll talk about very quickly, is I'm going to be installing PV on the office workshop. I'm investing a little bit of money in that to try and save some money over the next few years. We're going to be installing about a 1.2 kilowatt system. And I'm doing this largely through used components in some respects. I've just bought a used inverter off eBay today. That's been done. Because frankly, the prices are astonishing. Just to give you an idea, I've bought a used Fronius 1.5 kilowatt inverter for £150. And that's average selling price. That's the normal selling price on eBay for these at the moment. There appears to be lots of lower power PV systems being pulled out. So the plan is to go used inverter, probably new panels, because there isn't really any cost saving on used panels. In fact, if anything, I've seen a number of companies selling used panels dearer than some of the brand new cheaper manufactured ones, and they're not exactly great manufacturer ones themselves. So panel prices in the UK at the moment is about £100. You can get PV panels for about a 325 watt panel. So my plan is to put four panels, aiming for a minimum of a kilowatt on the system. Just so I'm going to be doing a video on that, of what I've bought, what I'm doing, why I'm doing it. In the UK, we had something called a feeding tariff or a FIT scheme, and that's all ended. So there's no $80 for 270 watts. Nice. Yeah, it's a bit cheaper than here. That yours is a bit cheaper. The cheapest I found is about £100 here for about 320s. So that's what the plan is. 4 panels. Flat roof on top of the workshop, so it's going up on here, and really it's just going to be an idea of putting some money back in to generate a bit of electricity. That's the plan with this. Now's the time to do it. I found some interesting stuff around bases to hold the panels and stuff like that as well. Will DJI ever release the Mini 2 SDK? It's hard to know. That's a real tough one. I think probably yes, but it can take a little bit of time. Probably yes, but I wouldn't expect it straight away. 3 to 6 months after release, minimum, which we're heading for. But they're a weird company on that stuff at times. I think if it's selling well, they will continue to, and especially if they see a lot of business models buying it. But then again, they also want to drive cost and value to their more expensive models like the A2S. I'll be honest, I'm getting sucked in a little bit by the A2S right now. I flew the Inspire 2 the other day, which really made me think about selling it. I flew the Mavic 2 Pro, which I thought was great, but it's a bit big. I'm tempted to almost sell everything and buy an A2S. I really am, but I don't need it. It's hooking me in slightly. That aircraft is. It really is. So anyway, guys, that's it. Solar is the way to go. Been off grid for 3 years now. Cool, Robert. That's very cool. Yeah, I missed the feed-in tariff thing over here, and I'll be honest, I couldn't make it happen when FIT was a real thing. For those who don't know, in the UK we had this thing called FIT, which meant originally the way this worked was for every kilowatt of power you generated, regardless if you used it or not, they paid you. Okay, so to give you an idea, the original FIT rate was 45p a kilowatt. So you weren't paid for feeding into the grid. It was called a feed-in tariff, but the way it worked was this. For every kilowatt of energy you generated, they gave you 45 pence, and then they would estimate another 2p per kilowatt you put in for generation, but there was a couple of other things and stuff as well. Now, that original feed-in tariff is up to now about 60p or 65p, I believe, a kilowatt. So in the old days, if you bought like a £6,000 system, 4 kilowatt or 3.9 kilowatt system, you can generate, and I have a relative who generates about £2,000 a year in return. So that system cost about £6,500 to install, and they are getting roughly £2,000 a year in income as a result of the feed-in tariff, and they get that for 25 years guaranteed. 25 years worth of payments on that. Now, I missed that, and then the rate dropped. I think it dropped to 24p, then it dropped to 14p, and then 8p or whatever, and it's now gone. So from a feeding point of view, there's zero good reason today to feed in for me. However, there is good reason to generate enough electricity to cover my average daily while I'm home use. And that's what the plan is. I wouldn't mind going battery bank in the future, and maybe even consider start doing some stuff around that later down the line. This is really about saving some money on cost of electricity and things like this. So I am going to talk a little bit about that and what I'm going to do as we go through. I've ordered the inverter, paid the money tonight. So the next job is to order the panels. I think, looking at it, I'm going to be all in for about £800 for this 1.5 kilowatt system. That's what it's looking like from an investment point of view. At the moment, that's what the costs are looking like. So it'll be interesting to see. It's going to be on the workshop, but it will be feeding into the whole house grid. So whilst it will be coming into here and powering in here, the system will be feeding. It will be powering the whole house as well in the daytime. So yeah, a little bit of interesting thing there I'll be talking about as well. But yeah, 150 quid for a Fronius inverter. It's a bargain, absolute bargain. It really is cheap. Yeah, with the 300. Yeah, I'm looking at these bins. They're not bins. They're like plastic things you fill with gravel to hold them on the roof. That's what the plan is. If I wanted to buy a kit, I could buy a 6-panel kit for about £1,200. But I'm going to try and do this on the cheap as much as I can. But I am looking at about a £400 saving right now. Think about battery. Just a tiny one to start. Yeah, really am thinking something just to also back into as well. Yeah, I have been thinking about it. It's something that's been on my mind. Right, guys, that's it. I'm going to call it a night. I'd like to thank you for spending some time with me again on a Sunday night. I really do appreciate it. Sorry it's been a bit of a slow show tonight. Not really a huge amount to talk about. We are in that lull of the drone world a bit now. All the excitement's over. All of the hype is for you to follow everything about solars and batteries. Take a look at his name. Take a quick look for his name before you stop streaming. What's his name? Wait. It has really dropped in pricing over here, right? Avis next to it. Yes, press release coming through. It's solar has plummeted in the UK. Prices have plummeted, absolutely dropped off the scale. I was astonished how cheap they've gone, even legitimate. For instance, the inverter that was in my relatives, I think they paid £2,000 for that inverter. That's now 800 quid. PV Parts UK. I'll find one of the websites. I was astonished how cheap stuff is now. It just shocked me. Solar PV panels. It is, here we go. So if we go on ITS, just to show you guys this, right? So if we go on panels or something like Q-Cell, these are cheap panels, don't get me wrong. But look, on these 315 watters, actually no, it wasn't that one I was looking at, it was these ones. £85, £102 each. If you now go to solar inverters, you know, if you start even looking at the Fronius ones, you know, the good make, they've dropped so much new, you know, but even, let's just go end phase. I've heard of end phase before. Let's just have a look. Fronius, SMA. There were some which were just bog cheap. These are new. These are. So, but you can get, like eBay, right? eBay, I was astonished. If you go to ebay.co.uk and search for Fronius inverter, for instance. So, look at these. 199 quid. 3.6 kilowatt. SMA Sunny Boys, look, 359. This is one of the ones I've ordered here. IG15, 1.5 kilowatt. £199. There was a new other one here somewhere. There was one here which was brand new, 300 quid. That one's 399, look. 3 kilowatt. But there was one here that was, that one there, like £245, and it's brand new. I read the box. Some family faulty inverters decided to use another type of inverter, so these are up for grabs. Brand spanking new, never used. Box tatty from storage. Brand spanking 3 kilowatt inverter, 245 quid. It's just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So, what's the name? Let me just find the name. Good evening, Gary. Right, wait. That's him. Who's him? Building my own power wall. I'm just going to put 4 panels up, gang. I'm going to get about a kilowatt in. Because the feed-in tariff is finished over here now. Oh, it's not showing a link for me. It might not have posted the link. What's his name? Yeah, I will lose some power on flat. Yeah, there's no question about that. It's not going flat. It's going to be on an angle. But I will lose some power as a result. But you've got these flat root storage things. PV flat roof mounts, boxes. I found these things. Here they go. Link not working. I'm not seeing it in the chat. The chat's YouTube is really weird with links. It might be filtering it out. Just post his name or the channel name. These things here I'm looking at, which are quite interesting. You mount the panels on them like this and fill them with gravel. You can fill them with gravel or bricks. So you can just mount them directly down. And they have like metal brackets that hold the PV panels on then. So, yeah, some interesting stuff out there. There's some interesting bits of kit. But it has dropped. The price has dropped. In the UK, the price has dropped astonishingly. I was astonished how low the price of solar PV is now. Off-grid garage. Okay. Let's have a look for that. And let's hit the subscribe button. Off-grid garage. Hit subscribed. Cool. Okay. He's got a lot. Oh, fair play. Cool. That's cool. Very cool indeed. I will check him out. Absolutely. He's down with me as well, is he? Interesting. So what do we do? Shitty panels. Solar power. Ah, there's a lot of cool stuff here to have a look at. Cool. Right, guys. I'm going to call it a night. So, let me just get to my screen so I can find the buttons. There we go. Right. I'd like to thank you for spending some time with me tonight. As always, I will be putting the other videos up. The last... with World Pros. Okay. I will be putting some content up this week. I'm going to get the Ardra Pilot build started in the next couple of weeks. I've got some stuff to catch up on now. We're in a bit of a quieter period, so I've got some stuff to get caught up on. Little bits coming up in the week. Again, thank you for spending some time with me. Stay safe. If you are new here, please do consider hitting the subscribe button, just to, if you are new and you haven't. And yeah, I will speak to you guys again soon.